Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United will wait until the end of the season before opening contract talks with Ole Gunnar Solkjaer. He says we could hand him a new 2-year deal and we are willing to increase his wages to take his annual salary to 6 million before bonuses. Solskjaer has 16 months left on his current contract. I think he does deserve a new contract, reflecting on the progress he has made. We are second in the Premier League. We are 5 points behind Manchester City. Manchester City, though, do have a game in hand. It looks very, very imminent that Manchester City are going to win the Premier League title. Solskjaer did make an admission after our 3-3 draw with Everton. He said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. But before he made that admission, he wasn't really mentioning the title race. He was just taking one game at a time. I think a lot of Man United fans have now disregarded the title. If we'd have beaten Everton and if we'd have beaten Sheffield, then I'd have turned around and said, yeah, we are still in this title race. I think we'll win another title at some point, maybe next season, maybe in the next couple of seasons. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so that's like 8 years ago now. I think performances at Man United are improving. I think Solskjaer has improved certain players, which is good. We've been very, very good away from home. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. We haven't been as good at home though as we have been away, but we have won some games at home recently. But all our defeats this season have come at Old Trafford. We was unbeaten in 13 Premier League games in a row until Sheffield United had beaten us. Solskjaer also deserves credit because he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. We lost that to Manchester City 2-0. He's got us to the FA Cup 5th round. We do play West Ham tonight, which will be a tough game. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season. He guided us to 3 semi-finals. He got us qualification for the Champions League and he also got us 3rd. That's the second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Despite our reluctance to back Solskjaer with transfers, I still think he's made good signings as Man United manager. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. And he spent over £200 million at the club. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. The summer transfer window of this year is very important for Man United because we do need more signings. And it's very imperative that Woodward backs Solskjaer in the summer transfer window because I don't think the board have backed Solskjaer enough so far. And, Woodward's come out several times to support Solskjaer, and he did say towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. It was a very, very disappointing January transfer window because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. But Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. I've given you the three areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. To Solskjaer's credit though, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Man United. We saw a few players leave in the January transfer window. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We let Marcus Rojo go. We loaned Tiedemann Mengi out. Odi Nagalo said his farewells to the club. We saw Timothy Fosu-Mensah leave the club. In the other transfer windows Solskjaer's enjoyed, we've seen players like Young leave the club, Valencia leave the club, Darmian leave the club, Smalling leave the club. We've seen Fellaini leave the club in January 2019. We've seen Herrera leave the club. We've seen Lukaku leave the club. Seen Sanchez leave the club. We let Delors go out on loan. We let Andres Pereira go out on loan. We let Tahith Chong go out on loan. Let James Garner go out on loan. Let Dylan Levitt go out on loan, didn't we? So we have loaned quite a few players out. And I think more players could leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer recently said our summer transfer plans could be affected by the coronavirus pandemic. I am still expected to make some signings though in the summer. Now I just want to give you some news on Sergio Ramos. So according to recent reports, Sergio Ramos to Man United is close. Because apparently Sergio Ramos' agent will travel to England next week to finalise a 2-year deal, which could be worth around £200,000 a week. Now, Sergio Ramos did recently say that he wants to join Manchester United and he's prepared to leave Real Madrid in the summer. Obviously, he's going to be available on a 3 because he isn't going to be signing a new contract with Real Madrid. Sergio Ramos has been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid 16 years, or nearly 16 years, should I say. He's made over 600 appearances for Real Madrid in all competitions. He's won 22 major honours with them. Real Madrid got him from Sevilla back in 2005. They paid around €27 million. We'd get a couple of years out of him. Sergio Ramos is 34 years of age. He would go very, very well though alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Wouldn't he? He recently said that we identified our 2 top targets for the summer, and that was Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund and Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Now, I think Jadon Sancho's deal to Man United is off. Now, Bild said not so long ago that Dortmund reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. Because he said, Dortmund were relying on Jadon Sancho's sale. They've actually been forced to lower their demands because of the pandemic. Now, he said we face transfer competition for Sancho from Chelsea, but Dortmund are expecting him to leave in the summer transfer window. Don't forget, last summer, Jadon Sancho was our number one priority target. But Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. So the actual fee was a stumbling block, but he said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed in. You know, Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken a lot about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. So too has Bill's Christian Fark. But Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Earlier on this season, Jadon Sancho made an admission saying that he has enjoyed a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy to be back among the goals. Borussia Dortmund's CEO earlier on this season explained why he'd been struggling, because he was expected to join us last summer. I still think that £88 million is too much for Sancho, and I don't think we'd be willing to pay that. I think, looking at it now, he's probably worth from between £60 to £70 million. This is Jadon Sancho's fourth season, is it, with Borussia Dortmund? Analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he's been consistent. You know, Dortmund have actually been poor themselves this season. Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He said quite a few weeks ago that if we fail to sign Sancho again, we will make an attempt to sign Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. So yeah. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fifth transfer window as permanent Man United manager. But like I've said to you, for us to be genuine title contenders, we need more signings. And we've got to start beating the top six sides in the Premier League, because we have struggled against the top six sides in the Premier League this season. Obviously, we lost 6-1 to Tottenham. We drew 2-2 with Leicester. We drew 0-0 with City. We drew 0-0 with Liverpool. We drew 0-0 with Arsenal. We drew 0-0 with Chelsea. And we haven't only been struggling to beat the top sides. We've also been struggling to score goals against them. But like I say, I am Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his second full season at the moment. And I think we do deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer, because he could have easily been sacked as Manchester United manager, because we have endured bad periods under him. Solskjaer has been criticised a lot, especially earlier on in the season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. Even I was demanding him out earlier on in the season. I was saying stuff like, he's out of his depth at the football club. But reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at Man United, he has gained some managerial experience. He's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but Molde are a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and Solskjaer enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. But yeah, he has been Manchester United manager now for over 2 years. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to obviously replace Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim boss. Obviously, he did very, very well in that 3-month period, so we did give him the job permanently in March 2019. There's still quite a few things Solskjaer has got to do at the club. I think he's got to identify his best 11. He's got to get his selections right persistently. He's got to give Donny van der Beek more opportunities. But you've probably got to say now Solskjaer is the best manager since Ferguson. Because what I've seen in that in recent months, I have been saying, like, Solskjaer's been in the old Man United back, with the good performances, and we've come from behind in a lot of games this season. I'm used to do that a lot under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Like I've said to you time and time again before, no one is going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Ferguson won so many trophies at Man United and he endured 27 years with us. No one will last as long as him either. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Good job we didn't sack him any time in that 4 years, didn't win anything, because we wouldn't have had any success. But it's just good that we're seeing consistency now under Solskjaer, because we didn't see consistency for a long time, for the last, 7.5 years. Since Ferguson left, we've had different managers with different philosophies. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson went, and that was Moyes, sacked after 10 months, sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, and sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. I think Mourinho's actually enjoyed the longest tenure at the club as it stands since Ferguson retired. But yeah, definitely Solskjaer will outlast Jose Mourinho, I can definitely assure that. We've spent over £1 billion on players as well since Ferguson left, and must have brought around, 36, 37 players in. We only brought 2 players in under Moyes, that was Fellaini and Juan Mata. Under Louis van Gaal, we brought a lot of players in. Brought the likes of Schneidlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Rojo, Darmian, Martial, Shaw, Victor Valdez, Romero, Herrera. So they're a lot of the players we brought in under Louis van Gaal, but the vast majority of the players Louis van Gaal brought in are no longer at the club now, but there's still some here from the Louis van Gaal era. And you got Jose Mourinho, he recommended 11 players into the football club. To Solskjaer's credit, he has actually got rid of quite a few of Mourinho's players. There's still a good, 6, 7 players here now from the Jose Mourinho era. Yeah. And we have spent big on players in recent years. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. Paid £89 million for Pogba. That was back in 2016 though, wasn't it? Paid £75 million for Lukaku back in 2017. Paid, 50 million was it for Fred? Got Wan-Bissaka for like £50 million. When we got Di Maria, I think we must have paid like £60 million for him. So, there you go. But I think we've got some very, very good players, like I've mentioned. I think there's players that are really, really improving at Man United, like I've already gone through with you. Definitely Luke Shaw. He's really, really improving. He's getting forward well. He's getting into decent positions. He's putting good crosses into the box. He's creating chances for his teammates. And defensively, Luke Shaw has been superb. Luke Shaw does remain our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. Now, Alex Telles hasn't played nowhere near as much as I expected, but don't forget at one point he did have COVID. I've been very, very impressed with Eric Bailly, the games he's played in. But he's too injury prone, is Eric Bailly, but I certainly prefer him to Victor Lindelof. When Bailly's playing, he makes very good interceptions. He shows the ability to play out from the back. He blocks the ball well, and sometimes he's very effective in the air. And Bailly is still out with injury now. And Wan-Bissaka, aspects of his game have been improving recently. He's getting forward a lot more now. He's taking players on at the edge of the box. His crossing's improving. Defensively, Wan-Bissaka's always been superb. This is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Man United. Fred, like I've gone through with you, he's really improving at Man United. He's showing good attacking intent. He's breaking up the play well. He can play some excellent passes. I think the only thing that Fred needs to work on is the reading of his game. That's what's letting him down at the moment. Like I said, Fred's been at the club now a few years. And Paul Pogba, I've been very impressed with his performances. Don't forget, Paul Pogba got voted Player of the Month for January, reflecting on the fantastic goal he scored in the 2-1 win against Fulham. Now, these negativity regarding Paul Pogba is out with a thigh injury for a few weeks. So like I mentioned yesterday, he is going to be a big miss. He sustained his thigh injury in our 3-3 draw with Everton. Paul Pogba was actually out with an ankle injury earlier on this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Now, we recently held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future. Ole Gunnar Solkjaer insists that Paul Pogba is happy at Man United, and Solskjaer recently suggested Paul Pogba could sign a new contract. So yeah, like I said, there is a chance Paul Pogba will stay at Man United potentially past the summer, but there's also a chance he'll leave the club in the summer. Don't forget, earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, recently come out and give us an update on Pogba's future, and he said Paul Pogba's got no intentions of signing a new contract. He said we need to sell him during the summer if we are to get the money, or he could leave for nothing in 2022. So he's saying the same thing as what Fabrizio Romano said, because Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United is still on the cards. And he said that Mini Oriol has been planning a move for Paul Pogba next summer. He has had a long-running transfer saga. In recent weeks he's been linked with a move to PSG. He's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus, and he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. I think if we are to sell him this summer, we do want around £75 million for him. Mini Oriola, don't forget, made an announcement back in December saying that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is what his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Marcus Rashford, like I've said, I think he's really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. He's enjoyed his bad periods as well, but when Rashford's playing well, he can get good runs in behind. He can create chances. He can score good goals. We just need to keep Marcus Rashford out wide because that's where he's more effective. Keep him on the left, that is, because I don't think he's as good on the right as he is on the left, and he's certainly not as good centrally as he is out wide. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Edison Cavani is a player that can hold up the play well. His movement in and around the box is good. He can create chances and he can also score very, very good goals. We got Edison Cavani on a free transfer last summer on deadline day. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. I kind of sure he will see out his contract at the club. I think Solkjaer mentioned earlier on this season we could be looking to extend his contract because Solkjaer confirmed that he's definitely a starter. You know, Mason Greenwood, he's done very, very well recently for Man United, but still hasn't managed to get his name on the score sheet. Mason Greenwood's a player that can get good runs in on that right-hand flank. He can pass the ball well. He can sometimes put good crosses in. He can create chances. Didn't really have much of a perception on him earlier on this season, Greenwood, because he wasn't playing that much, was he? Because he had personal issues. At one point he had injury. And at one point he had illness. But Ollie has been defending him a lot this season. And at the start of this season, we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. Bruno Fernandes, he's obviously an exceptional player. He's our best player, and you can say he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. It recently said that Bruno Fernandes is planning on spending many years at Man United after his 12-month anniversary. It recently said we are 3 months into contract talks with Bruno Fernandes, but it recently said that contract talks had stalled. Bruno Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. We paid 47 million, was it, for Bruno Fernandes, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over 67 million pounds. Fernandes has won Player of the Month a few times now, reflects on his good performances. He also won it for December. Predominantly plays as a number 10. Most of his games at Man United, he has been consistent. There has been a few games, though, where he has looked off the pace. And he denies that he needs a rest, Fernandes, because he obviously wants to help the club win trophies. Donny van der Beek, I think he's a good player. That's when he plays. He needs to be given more opportunities at Man United. You know, Solskjaer the other week promised Donny van der Beek more chances at Man United. And he did make an admission saying that Donny van der Beek is unhappy at the club with his lack of game time. He seldom starts in the Premier League. He's only started 2 games in the league, and that was Southampton and West Ham. So most of his appearances have come from the bench. You know, we got Donny van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid 35 million up front and there was 5 million in add-ons, and Van der Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025, and you can put him in 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position at Ajax. You can put him as a number 10, and you can also put him out wide. Now, ESPN said during the January transfer window that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van der Beek. You know, we was blocking him from leaving. You know, Harry Maguire, he can be good when he wants to be, but certainly wasn't worth the £80 million that we got him for. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Now, I think even David De Gea has had some good games this season, and there has been signs that he's slowly getting back to his best. But De Gea now, in the last couple of years, he's been making too many calamitous mistakes. De Gea recently made 2 mistakes in our 3-3 draw with Everton. effectively cost us the game against Everton. And obviously, reflect on that, Solskjaer has warned David De Gea that his place is not secure in the Man United team. But he said no one's place is safe at Man United. You know, they've obviously got to earn their place by putting good performances out. You know, so Solskjaer's got a big decision to make on De Gea. I think De Gea is going to remain our number one, though, for at least this season. You know, this is David De Gea's 10th season at the club, so he has been a long servant. But yeah, I think Dean Henderson now is reliable enough to become our number one. So there you go. And to be honest with you, we have extended a lot of players' contracts as well since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.